Brought to you by Uniquely Ours. Explore Uganda.
Hello there and welcome once again. We are coming to you live online and on air from Broadcasting House here on Nile Avenue. On sign language it is Senyomo Yusuf and I am Rukidi Kiijanangoma. Now President Yoweri Museveni has called upon Ugandan youths to stop relying on handouts and instead use the country's natural resources to start businesses that generate income. The President made the remarks during the commissioning of the Teso fish feed factory in Njero Municipality, Buikwe District. The facility is set to boost local production of animal feed, create jobs and support the growth of the country's fisheries sector. We have more in this story.
Njero Municipality was the place to be on Tuesday afternoon as President Museveni commissioned a fish feed factory in Buikwe district. The Teso factory is a leading multi-global animal nutrition company headquartered in Netherlands. The factory represents a major step in the government's push to develop agro-industrial projects that reduce dependency on imports.
This is a better solution than the one I was trying to do through the AME company, the National Enterprises Corporation. Because first of all, these people are bringing new capital. Because normally the AME company depends on the budget. The government must give them the money. But this is private sector money from outside, which now relieves us of that pressure to find budget money for the AME company to produce fish feeds and poultry feeds.
He stressed the need to preserve and use wetlands productively.
I'm very happy to hear from the ambassador, the Netherlands ambassador to Uganda here, and Miriam Black, our ambassador to the European Union, about my plan to shift our people from growing rice in the swamps, which was a big mistake, to fish farming.
Museveni encouraged youth to participate in agriculture and related enterprises to earn a living.
So I'm very happy really to be here. They continue the Netherlands so that we really support one another and create prosperity for all our peoples.
The line minister, Helen Adoa, expressed hope in the initiative.
The fish is like a baby. You produce a baby, cannot move anywhere if you don't feed the baby. The fish in Uganda has not been having any feed, except we have to export. I mean import. And one time they took me to see what Yalelo was doing. And I saw how we imported a lot of feed from Zambia. And they said, look, we can do it here. And today, Your Excellency, I want to thank you for giving the opportunity for these investors to come. This is their first time for Uganda to have this biggest fish feed.
The Netherlands ambassador to Uganda lauded Uganda for its partnership with investors, highlighting the collaboration between government and the private sector.
The Netherlands is currently the second largest exporter of agricultural produce in the world, right after the United States of America. So I think that's something that I like to mention, I have to admit.
This company will buy about 80,000 to 100,000 tons of raw materials such as soya, maize, cassava, sunflower meal, and sorghum, locally and to be exported to the region and to improve the food and nutrition in this country.
The Deus Fish Feed Factory will provide jobs, improve fish production, and contribute to Uganda's aquaculture sector. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Vice President Jessica Alupo has officially formed and commissioned the committee responsible for overseeing the consultation process regarding the proposed fair distribution of the Teso cattle rehabilitation program. The program aims at benefiting every household in the sub-region.
His Excellency the President had a conference in Sorority University with the composition of different leaders across Teso. And in the discussion, the cattle compensation, which is currently ongoing, was explained to the people by the team of the Attorney General. But what came out clearly is that a big number of the members in the meeting were dissatisfied with the method in which the cattle compensation is being conducted. So we are here today, first and foremost, to constitute a committee that is going to lead the consultation process. And the committee was already identified by His Excellency the President on that day, when he met with the Vice President and the Minister for Teso. So we have decided that the committee is empowered with the representative, the ministry, from the members of Parliament, from the cultural institutions, from the Teso and the command, from the local governments, represented here by the representative chairman of the who is the chairperson of all the representative chairman. The RDCs represented here by the RDC, and the team and the office of the Attorney General. I forgot to mention the religious leaders also as representative. May I take this honor and privilege to constitute and commission this committee? Those in favor say aye, those against say nay. Aye. The second point is we are here as a committee to identify groups which we are going to interact with in line with the directive of His Excellency the President across the region. And we shall interact with those teams in phases. My proposed mode of interaction is marathon. Beginning on Thursday this week, up to Thursday next week, we will have finished all the groups. So that we present the report to His Excellency the President before 15th of this month. Among the groups which we think we strongly believe are represented enough to speak on behalf of many others are the members of Parliament from Teso. This committee may wish to expand the teams which we are going to interact with.
Vice President Jessica Alupo ending that story there. Meanwhile, the Vice President Jessica Alupo has joined Christians at the Zoe grounds in Chigo for the annual Honor Day celebrations. The event was organized under the Zoe Ministries led by Prophet Elvis Mbonye. Take a watch.
Thousands gathered at Zoe grounds in Chigo for Honor Day, one of the biggest gatherings on the Zoe Ministries calendar, drawing believers from across Uganda and beyond. The occasion is marked by praise, worship, testimonies and spiritual teachings under the guidance of Prophet Elvis Mbonye.
Receive a prophet or reject a prophet of God. He says a prophet is not without honor, but in his own country and among his own kin and his own house. Now the fact that you have come here to honor not Elvis Mbonye, but Prophet Elvis Mbonye. You have come here on behalf of your nation, and therefore the blessing that God has reserved for today is not only going to impact you on an individual level, it's going to impact the nation as well.
This year's edition saw Vice President Jessica Alupo grace the occasion as guest of honor. Addressing the congregants, Alupo commended the role of faith-based institutions in fostering hope, unity and moral guidance in the country. She
congratulate the Prophet on this special day for your distinguished service through your ministry and your good work. Let us all thank him with a big round of hand clap. I bring you greetings from His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, and Mama Janet Kataha Museveni, the First Lady. It is indeed an honor to be here today on this occasion as we celebrate a life devoted to God, service and national transformation.
Further acknowledged the impact of religious gatherings in uplifting communities spiritually and socially.
I must say that the work that Prophet Elvis Mbonye is doing is in line and in consonance with the programs of government.
Prophet Elvis Mbonye, in his message to the believers, emphasized faith, divine purpose, and the responsibility of Christians to live as examples in society. He also thanked government leaders and other dignitaries for recognizing the importance of spiritual community. Other dignitaries that attended include the Minister of Youth and Children Affairs, Balam Balgahala, who commended government under the NRM for the freedom of worship. Honor Day continues to grow each year, not only as a platform of worship, but also as a convergence of faith, leadership, and national values.
Sudat Kaye reporting there. Now, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has given 300 million shillings to Birembo Civilian War Veterans Savings and Credit Cooperative Society organizations, SACCOs, in the 3 districts of Kagadi, Chivale and Kakumiro, and this is in response for the enormous contribution rendered in the National Resistance Army NRA liberation struggle between 1981 and 1985. The money was delivered by the Minister of State for Transport, Fred Byamukama.
While giving out the contribution to the 162 Birembo civilian war veterans at Birembo Technical Institute in Birembo, Minister Byabakama cautioned the SACCO members on good distribution amongst SACCO members.
Excellency, the President has donated 300 million to the veterans who supported him during the Bush War of 1986. Around Birembo here, you are seeing these houses. In 1986, this was the bush. We appealed to them to do those projects which can quickly multiply this money. One, you can do 2 acres, maybe you plant onions, you can also plant coffee, you can do poultry.
The RDC thanked President Museveni for fulfilling his pledge. The beneficiaries thanked President Museveni for the support, promising to invest the money in productive enterprises for sustainable household income.
Now, the Prime Minister of Uganda, Rukidi Kiijanangoma, has commended teachers for spearheading skills development among learners. The Prime Minister has called on teachers to be patriotic and love their country because it is their constitutional obligation to do so. She was giving a lecture of opportunity to over 1,000 secondary teachers who are attending a training in patriotism and mindset change taking place at Teso School in Mbarara district.
For the last 1 week, Teso School in Mbarara district has been a beehive of activity. Over 1,000 secondary school teachers from Greater Mbarara and Tungamo districts are gathered to train in patriotism and mindset change. This afternoon, the Prime Minister of Uganda, Rukidi Kiijanangoma, was invited by the National Secretariat for Patriotism in Uganda to give a lecture of opportunity to the teachers. Dressed in military attire, the teachers were excited to receive the Prime Minister, who is also a professional teacher.
These participants are very good people, very interactive, very jolly as a teacher. These teachers, when they are teaching us back in school, they say teaching, first and foremost, teaching is a patriotic calling. They teach us to be resilient. They teach us to endure. Now it's what they are undergoing. How is it?
Addressing the gathering, Kiijanangoma commended the teachers for spearheading skills development among the learners in Uganda.
Military, you are very important people in this country. Because you play a very important role in spearheading skills development among our learners. As government, we are aware that a skilled population is crucial to the achievement of socio-economic transformation and sustainable development.
The Prime Minister called on the teachers to be more patriotic and love for their country because it's their constitutional obligation to do so. She urged them to jealously guard their motherland, Uganda.
Patriotism is a constitutional obligation as per section 29 of our Constitution. The love for the country is enshrined in the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda. Among the duties of every citizen is being patriotic and loyal to Uganda and promoting its well-being. We call Uganda motherland, isn't it? You have no alternative. So those of you who say, maybe that is for their parents. You don't love your country. How can somebody drink alcohol and forget himself that he is loved by his family?
The Prime Minister cited the head of state, President Museveni, as one of the most patriotic Ugandans, and she urged all the teachers to emulate him.
Those from Tungamo, do you need a passport to cross Rwanda? You just move. And you think it is just like that. Somebody worked for it on your behalf. And that is Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Somebody is spending sleepless nights to make those things you see happen.
The rate of environmental degradation in Uganda has been alarming, and the Prime Minister urged them to protect the environment.
This country, Uganda, is gifted by God, by nature. You know why? Because we sit on the equator. We get 2 seasons of rain. Last month I was in Dubai. It is hot nkageyena.
She also cautioned the head teachers to stop the illegal school fees, saying the practice is causing school dropouts.
Now, after Nabanja, who is a teacher? Tomorrow it's you. That one reason why government came up with this policy of free education was that some parents could not afford.
She called upon them to be change agents by engaging in poverty alleviation programs established by government.
I know some of you are agricultural teachers like me. To mobilize people with small plots of land, and I know to engage in intensive farming. We need to refocus our people, you the teachers. This is your role.
The Prime Minister assured the teachers that the government has prioritized the teachers' welfare by starting with science teachers, and arts teachers will be considered soon.
We are now saying in the coming financial year, we can also look at arts teachers. Is that bad?
Jingo Francis reporting there. Now, the Parliamentary Appointments Committee has implored newly appointed Principal Judge, Lady Justice Jane Frances Abodo, to prioritize timely access to justice for all Ugandans. The call was made during her vetting process at Parliament as legislators emphasized the need to address the long-standing issue of case backlogs within the judiciary.
Over the weekend, President Museveni appointed Justice Jane Frances Abodo as Principal Judge, replacing Justice Flavian Nzeija, who was earlier appointed Deputy Chief Justice. Justice Abodo, who is serving as the Director of Public Prosecutions, has appeared before the Parliamentary Appointments Committee for vetting, which was held in camera.
So it is important that Parliament today has vetted the nominee for that office. And we think that the judiciary and the public should be eagerly waiting for that office to be filled. Because as an administrative head, a principal judge handles many things.
Speaking to members of the committee after the vetting, legislators cited the heavy responsibility awaiting Justice Abodo, especially in curbing case backlog.
There are many cases that are unattended to in the courts. Some cases will last for about 15 years, 20 years. So the new principal judge has a duty to work, obviously, with the other leaders of the judiciary to ensure that they come up with the effective case backlog management processes.
If you can have so many RDCs and then you appoint deputy RDCs, and of recent, we added assistant deputy RDCs or that kind of thing. Why don't you appoint more judges? Why don't you avail that to them so that they don't have an excuse? Let's take justice to be a serious matter.
However, Leader of Opposition Joel Senyonyi was concerned over the cases stuck in the office of the Director of Public Prosecutions.
My challenge has been, especially towards the end of her term as the Director of Public Prosecutions, there's been issues there, Irene. The Supreme Court on 31st January of this year delivered a ruling saying civilians should not be tried in military courts, and actually ordered that all pending cases before military courts should be tried, should be transferred to civilian courts. Up to now, that has not happened. The outgoing DPP seems to also be throwing the ball elsewhere, saying, well, they're meant to carry out investigations and so on, but the duty to charge is yours. So I think that in that regard, she has failed these people who have been trying to seek justice, because now they belong nowhere.
Committee members also raised concerns over how some courts deny bail to accused persons, despite the constitutional principle of presumed innocence. They called for clear and fair bail guidelines to uphold justice for all.
We are concerned at the way some of the judicial officers are handling matters related to bail application. First of all, an application for bail should be the simplest of applications. To appeal, as a legal practitioner myself, to the Chief Justice, the Deputy Chief Justice, and now the Principal Judge, to ensure that bail guidelines are streamlined and structured in such a manner that the constitutional presumption of innocence is maintained and preserved by those bail guidelines and regulations.
In two recent rulings, Yasin Sechitoreko, also known as Machete, versus the state, and another, Anthony Agaba, also known as Bobby Young, versus the state, they've been trying to seek bail. Very recent rulings, and court said, no, we cannot grant you bail because you are not yet legally before us as the High Court. Your files have not been transferred from the military courts to the civilian courts. And so they remain in abeyance, and that would even mean they are being held in prison illegally.
When approached for a comment after her vetting, newly appointed Principal Judge Justice Jane Francis Abodo had this to say.
The interaction was okay. The interaction. No. I have not yet got the job. I have not yet got the job. I don't know the results from the committee. So let's wait for that. After we do that, then we can, because they might say no. Then I've already told you the task ahead of me. That would be really premature.
Lady Justice Jane Okuo Kajuga was formerly acting Principal Judge. Rebecca Nantongo, Gloria Gutabinji, Parliament.
Big thing about the MTN Super. Wali yakapia musite wali yakapia. Wali yakapia. MTN kabo de super mustairompia. Then you kabo de smartphone nebi yakabibiona. Wali yakapia. MTN kabo de super mustairompia. Then you kabo de smartphone nebi yakabibiona.
Get the new Kabode Super smartphone and enjoy 16 GB free. Start with a deposit of only 45,000 Uganda shillings and pay the rest mpora in daily installments of less than 1K. You can also make weekly and monthly installments. Together, our vibes are unstoppable. Terms and conditions apply.
MTN.
MTN is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission.
At UNOC, we believe in safety.
Revered as the patrons of the wild, my horn stood tall, announcing my presence among Africa's Big Five. Yet, with all my strength, I struggled to survive. Then Uganda Wildlife Authority gave us something, a safe home at the Ziwa Rhino Sanctuary. And here we begin to thrive again. Today, we are 48 members strong, with 17 cows, ready to take our unique story into the future. This is your lifetime opportunity to name a rhino, and with it, find the conservation efforts that keep our story alive. For more information, visit our website, www.ugandawildlifeauthority.org.
Welcome back from that break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. A warm welcome to those of you just joining us. Moving on, the Anti-Corruption Court has charged and remanded former Makerere University Business School Principal Professor Waswa Balunywa to Luzira prison. He is facing charges of corruption involving illegal staff recruitments while serving as principal at MUBS. The Anti-Corruption Magistrates Court Chief Magistrate Rachel Nachaze read to the 63-year-old Professor Waswa Balunywa charges after 2 sets of criminal summons were issued against him. Prosecution alleges that Professor Balunywa, while serving as a principal at MUBS Nakawa, abused his office between February and April 2023 when he irregularly recruited James Arike, Nathan Nwajira and Nimrod Kakai as administrative assistants without the required academic qualifications. Prosecution says the recruitments created ineligible costs to government, forming the basis of the corruption case leading to loss of taxpayers' money. Professor Balunywa is jointly charged with a former acting human resource director at MUBS Nakawa, Jacqueline Namaganda, for neglect of duty. The same court charged Professor Balunywa with more charges of involving in illegal recruitment of over 103 academic staff, 17 administrative officers and 69 support staff, an act that could be performed by the Appointments Committee. He denied all the alleged offences. Professor Balunywa could not be released on bail, and Magistrate Rachel Nachaze set 5th of September 2025 to rule in his bail application. Now, there has emerged tension and disputes among National Resistance Movement NRM party members in Kampala following the distribution of party flag, with some members feeling unfairly treated and others threatening to stand as independents. Now, this comes after the party tribunal ruled on the parliamentary petitions which have upheld mainly the winners.
After the National Resistance Movement party primaries, the NRM chairman established a tribunal to give fair hearing to members claiming irregularities in the just concluded party primaries. But after the ruling in the petitions, many have disagreed with the outcome.
Actually, what the commission did was a copy and paste. A copy and paste from this petition to another.
And I questioned the tribunal. Who had petitioned me and who served me, and when was the ruling? When was the hearing? They had no answers. They had to actually say it was an error.
All we want is to serve our people, who are the voters. When you see people who have come out as an independent, these people were strong, very strong on ground.
5 NRM members from Kampala Central, Kawempe South and Kampala District have declared to stand on independent ticket. Affected members including Shamim Namfuma, Namulizaki, Susan Kushaba and Fatia Nakamia have appealed the NRM chairman Yoweri Museveni to intervene.
Therefore, we are here, I and my sister Yoweri, to let the people of Kampala know that we are coming as independent candidates.
They just arrange gangs. They use them to overthrow us who have come in, who has already been on the ground for a period.
Shamim Namfuma, who contested for NRM flag bearer, woman member of parliament for Kampala, tasks top party leaders to act now following the tribunal's failure to give a fair ruling.
Chairman, please, look into the electoral commission, the registrars that you have as NRM electoral commission, the commissioners that you have, to please rectify this issue as soon as possible.
Meanwhile, the NRM Disputes Tribunal has declared Chizito Moses NRM flag bearer for Kampala Lord Mayor, overturning the election of Mahad Kawesa.
The Electoral Commission today, the tribunal has declared me as the truly voted as a flag bearer for Kampala. And of course, many of us and all my voters in Kampala expected that because they voted for me. For sure, we won. We won this election. It was just some people who wanted to change the results, but
the situation among politicians highlights the challenges faced in managing internal conflicts and ensuring fair, smooth process for members.
My message to my comrades, which we have won, or we won already and we have won them again the second time, please, it is time we unite together and we work together. We put NRM first, then our interest as a personal interest, they will come after.
Reporting for ABC TV, Helen Barbara and Joseph Muyingo.
The Democratic Party, DP, has suspended all leaders in Greater Masaka districts, Kampala Metropolitan and Jinja for what the party president, Norbert Mao, terms being a rebellion against the party's principles. DP President General Norbert Mao told the media in Kampala that the National Executive Committee has taken over their roles in processing candidates ahead of next year's presidential elections.
The districts in Greater Masaka where the Democratic Party officials have been suspended include Masaka, Masaka City, Chotera, Rakai, Bukomansimbi and Kalangala. Other districts include Kampala, Jinja and Wakiso.
The reason we have taken this decision is because those branches are dysfunctional. They are incapable of delivering a democratic process of candidate selection. They are incapable of organizing primary elections. Therefore, the National Executive Committee has assumed all their powers.
DP President Norbert Mao accuses DP officials of being rebellious to the party principles.
We do that because there's a difference in the way we treat those who are opposed to us. But there's also a difference in the way we treat those who are rebelling against us. There's a difference between opposing and rebelling. Those areas I've named have leadership that are in rebellion against the current leadership of the Democratic Party.
Another person suspended is the former National Executive Secretary Suleiman Chedandala, accused of selling the Democratic Party registrar to the National Unity Platform Party.
Our former National Organizing Secretary, Suleiman Chedandala. It is not a secret, I've said it before. And it is happening even up to now.
Mao has, however, decried the diminishing support of Democratic Party in Buganda, where it used to be a stronghold.
If you're a dog, you go where they throw bones at you. You don't go where they're throwing stones at you. You would be a very stupid dog who wants to die. Because no dog eats stones. So if I'm moving in an area and I'm not being welcome, even Jesus said, if you go to a place and people don't welcome you, kick even the dust from the soles of your shoe and move on. After all, the politics moves in cycles. In another 5 or 10 years, DP will be a darling in the places where it is hated now.
Meanwhile, DP has unveiled Beatrice Mao as the DP flag bearer for Kampala mayoral seat after her closest competitor, John Bosco Muzanganda, stepped down.
I'm going to make DP proud, and I will reclaim Kampala to DP again. I promise to work tirelessly with the entire team, with all our councillors, with all the divisions. I can promise you one thing: this is not about party, this is not about color. Kampala is for everyone.
Philip Aguta for UBC News in Kampala.
So there's a gentleman here 4 weeks ago who told us today the number is low.
Thanks, Philip, for that story. And of course, talking about Kampala mayoral race, Kampala Lord Mayor Arias Lukwago has declared to run for the Lord Mayor in the forthcoming general elections. Lukwago, who has been the Kampala Lord Mayor since 2011, has launched what he termed as Kampala Agenda for the next 5 years. Take a watch.
The interim president of the People's Front for Freedom and also the Lord Mayor of Kampala, Arias Lukwago, has declared his bid to run for the same position he has held for the last 15 years. Lukwago has unveiled some milestone achieved in the last 15 years anchored on 5 pillars of unrelenting and steadfast leadership: planning and policy formulation, accountability, justice and equity, and fostering strong synergies with the development partners.
A distinction on my part
I have offered leadership with a proven track of record and an unsayable integrity, and that is critical.
At the event, the People's Front for Freedom launched the Kampala agenda for the next 5 years. The party has unveiled candidates to contest in the local council elections, including division mayors, dialect councillors and division councillors.
Having duly completed the nomination, vetting and selection processes of the People's Front for Freedom, is hereby officially endorsed and declared as the party's flag bearer to contest in the 2026 general elections.
The party leadership has welcomed new members, especially those who failed to secure position flags in the National Unity Platform vetting process.
Njagala sebo kusaba bwenaba mpeereddwa omukisa nkwate bendera y'ekibiina kino Mukama ngakkirizza ate nange njogereyo ekira ffenna tukole ku bintu ebikufaananya era ne bw'olibanga ovuddewo balijjukira nga bw'osomye nti legase yange erijjukirwa bweti ne bweti ne bweti.
Ettaka ly'obutali singa ssono n'abateekako akazito ndowooza singa muwowola.
Politics aside, and now to other news. Ministry of Lands and Urban Development is to prioritize funds for compensation of lawful and bona fide occupants of land in its budget. It follows government dismissing creating a land fund to support operations of the Uganda Land Commission. While appearing before the Parliamentary Committee on Land, the Minister for Lands and Urban Development, Judith Nabakoba, said the land fund was not operationalized and government decided to put funds in the budget for different MDAs.
Under which circumstances can land transaction change hands from government to private individual?
I'd like to know as a committee, if Ham was given the lease, how many years was he given?
So it is likely Nakibubu falls under Kampala District Land Board.
Minister for Lands and Urban Development Judith Nabakoba led officials from the ministry and Uganda Land Commission to appear before the Parliamentary Committee on Lands and present papers about their mandates, operational challenges and strategic priorities. One of the issues that brought debate was the issuancy of multiple titles on one piece of land, which Minister said the exercise of cancellation of titles was successful.
Like Honorable Chair is saying, we've had an issue of land grabbers now that are just creating titles, and they quickly come to the Land Commission for compensation, and they are quickly compensated with just new titles.
Actually, we managed to cancel about 1,000 titles that had been created using those kind of overlaps, double, multiple. His Excellency the President also now gave us alpha to engage in a technology which is called blockchain. We believe that also blockchain technology will help us to reduce on the multiple titles.
The ministry has a challenge of increasing housing deficit, and members of parliament were interested to hear how this is going to be addressed.
National Housing Construction Company did another study that put the deficit at 7 million housing units. So you can see the entire population, the biggest population is in either living in substandard housing or there is mushrooming homelessness. And this situation can only escalate.
Grade slum, what is the plan that those who are there are also benefiting from it? How will it be affordable, made affordable to them? You made mention of Shelter Africa.
but you've shied away from mentioning the amount for subscription. How much do we pay to unlock the 250 billion shillings?
And on operationalizing the land fund, Minister Nabakova said government decided to put money in budgets of MDAs.
The land fund, I wanted to ask whether this exists, and if it exists, how much is it owed?
But to cure the historical injustices and minimize on the evictions, government, as a stopgap measure, has been availing funds to the Commission to compensate the absentee landlords, and that is through the development budget. So we would want the fund itself to be set up, and it is that fund that would now be able to loan money to beneficiaries.
So like they told you, the land fund had never been operationalized, and we cannot say that we have been having it yet. The word is there. The word is there, but the funds are not there. What they are doing is to put the funds to run our activities of compensation and acquiring land in our budget as a ministry, and we
very money which the ministry is using exceptional of the mandate of the land fund. Isn't it this abuse of the law and misuse of the law?
Hamnafka Farida at Parliament.
A research by Makerere University School of Public Health shows that drowning is a major cause of premature death among Ugandans between 5 and 25 years of age. The Justice for Development Council has held a strategic meeting with news editors to ensure effective reporting on drowning. The project coordinator, Stephen Opal, told UBC that the engagement is for advocacy to create community awareness and how drowning can be prevented.
In Uganda, over 3,000 people lose lives annually attributed to drowning, according to research conducted by Makerere School of Public Health. Children between the age of 5 years to adults aged 25 meet their untimely death. Businge Otto is a researcher at Makerere University School of Public Health in the Department of Trauma, Injury and Disability Unit explains the research findings.
Aside being statistics, when you listen and hear that 3,000 people have died, when you listen to it as a number, it may not make sense. But when you count 3,000 bodies in front of you, or listen to a story of a mother who has lost a child, or a father who has lost a son, that's when it becomes a concern. Of course, findings from the research conducted by School of Public Health found out that over 70% of these cases happen in lakeside districts. These are districts that are neighboring lakes, especially the Lakes Albert, Lake Choga, Lake Victoria. That's where most of these cases are happening. And rural and peri-urban areas are the mostly affected.
Lack of access to clean and piped water in areas surrounded by water bodies is the leading death trap, where children are sent for water from lake shores drown.
In villages, let's say like in districts of Rubirizi, they are surrounded by deep lakes, wells, and this is where you find families have to send children, of course 5 years. That's why the incidents are common among that age category. They have to go and fetch water because of maybe lack of access to clean and piped water. So these families end up sending children to ponds, to wells and rivers. And of course, being children and unsupervised, they end up drowning.
To ensure effective reporting and preventing drowning, Justice for Development Council has held a consultative meeting with news editors from different media houses to support journalists on disseminating information to the community. Stephen O'Paul says there's need for policies to be put in place by government. Drowning is a major public health issue where Uganda has one of the highest global drowning rates. It is common among young adult males living among lakeside communities who carry out boating-related activities like fishing, most at risk.
Of course, there are very many interventions that could be put in place to prevent drowning, including like training individuals how to swim, improving our response rate, especially with those ones concerned in search and rescue. Of course, our response time matters, and it doesn't take a lot of time for someone to drown and die within the water.
Reporting for BCTV, Helen Barbara Gizamba.
The Executive Director of Mulago National Referral Hospital, Dr. Rosemary Byanyima, has called for increased investment in targeted therapy to improve the quality of care for cancer patients. This was during the launch of a 5-year study on lung cancer in East Africa.
Makerere Lung Cancer Institute, working with Case Western Reserve University in the US and the National Institute for Medical Research in Tanzania, has been implementing the Lung Cancer in East Africa LCH study since 2021. The research, carried out across 9 cities in both countries, has supported patients through screening, diagnosis, treatment, and even home visits. Dr. Rosemary Byanyima, the Executive Director at Mulago National Referral Hospital, applauded the researchers for bridging the gap in data collection, but stressed that more investment is needed to improve cancer care.
You know, we have many Mulagos. All the big hospitals in Mbarara, Masaka, whatever, they are all Mulagos, not so? So, we need to strengthen the referral system. Let even the private practice not stick on to patients if they are not responding to treatment, and only refer when it's so advanced. Targeted therapy and the data which you shared really gives hope. And I have a few testimonies of even colleagues who have survived for more years with better quality life. You know, there's prolonging life, but without improving the quality. And this is a testimony that we must invest in targeted therapy because there is improvement in the quality of health and prolonging life.
Okay. So, my name is Ivan Chimuli, and I am the Deputy Director at the Makerere University Lung Institute. And in this area of lung cancer, the Lung Institute wants to take a significant position of generating evidence. And this evidence is meant to inform policy, to inform diagnostics, to inform therapeutics in lung cancer so that we are able to reduce the prevalence as well.
The study's main objective were to identify HIV-related lung cancer risk factors, conduct genomic and molecular analysis, and develop improved diagnostic imaging models. During the dissemination meeting, researchers shared findings with stakeholders in lung cancer care, academia, and the scientific community. The results revealed that women are more likely to develop lung cancer compared to men.
We found that 311 patients actually had a confirmation of lung cancer. So if you see 311 out of the 705, that is 44%. So 44% of people who present with cough, with chest pain, with coughing blood, with weight loss, with the persistent tiredness, 44% will turn out to have lung cancer. So, but who are these people at risk? So we also went ahead and assessed who is at risk of developing lung cancer. We noticed that people who are 60 years and above were 2 times more likely to have lung cancer. Yes, women are more at risk, and what we got from our findings, it is people who cook using wood, then who cook within enclosed space. So and you know, in our community, women cook more, so women actually at a higher risk.
5% of people who had lung cancer had ever had TB, compared to only 16%. Now the key message that tells you is that if you have had TB, even if you have been cured, it is very important that should you develop any other symptoms in the lungs, you go back to the hospital to be screened for possible lung cancer, because these findings are not only unique to Uganda. We know that there are many studies out there that have really established that people who have survived TB are at a very, very high risk of getting TB, of getting lung cancer in the future.
Zahara Abigaba, UBC News.
We'll take yet another short break and return with the latest in business.
Amanya gange nze mugerwa John Bulega mbeera Wantoni mukono wano mu kifo kyennyini w'empangulidde pikipiki eno kakati bakama bange engeri gye mpanguddemu pikipiki eno bakama baffe ab'MTN bazze ne promotion eno yakola tune era mbadde ndi mu kulya kamere ne ŋŋamba kangezesa omukisa gwange nempita kiyambi wa MTN nannyambako nanteerako nusu 10 ku akawunti yange eya MTN eya layini yange nangulira akakola tune angulidde kanneeyanziza naŋŋamba aguze kashiba era bwamaze okungulira akakola tune akakashiba ne bakwata ennamba ne bagitaba mu bululu bwentyo MTN olw'okuba nti mbadde muwanguzi wempangulidde mu kunyeenya nempita mu kalulu bwentyo nempita mu bakama bange era nga neeyanziza nnyo neeyanzege ddala MTN oye MTN kya ddala ebya MTN bya ddala ensi eraba enjuba ekyayaka piki ndikutte misana neeyanziza nnyo ddala ab'MTN.
Hello, Kampala, Uganda. In response to the national call of strengthening the traffic security, Good Products Group HGO brand has officially launched the Rider Selection Campaign. Registration is now open. Visit www.riders.hgo.com. Complete your registration now for a chance to win exciting prizes including motorcycles, exclusive HGO gift boxes, and official rider vests, all while promoting safe riding awareness. This is how to participate. Pay the registration fee, invite 3 friends to form a team of 4, and your registration fee will instantly be refunded. Begin your journey of honor today. Don't miss this opportunity. Join the challenge, promote road safety, and become a pioneer rider. For details, visit the official Good Products website at www.hgo.com or call toll-free 0800-335-555 or visit our offices at Kingdom Kampala 3rd floor to register now and win prizes worth millions.
Step into a world of excellence, comfort, and pride with Royal Foam Furniture, crafted to perfection right here in Uganda. We bring you state-of-the-art living room furniture and bedding products at affordable prices. Our wide variety of mattresses include orthopedic, pillow top, spring mattresses suitable for institutions like hotels, and many others for home comfort. With every piece telling a story of royal excellence, our products are built with the highest quality materials made to last. Experience royalty with Royal Foam Furniture, proudly made in Uganda, so buy Uganda and build Uganda. Visit our showrooms at Ginger Road, Chambogo Junction, Bukota Chisasi Road, and on Victoria Mall, Entebbe, on the 1st floor.
Welcome back. Let's have a look now at the latest in business. Now, tensions have been rising in the Palabek area of Lamu district in northern Uganda over a sugarcane project. The project, which was meant to bring economic benefits to the community, has now sparked conflict over land ownership and management. During a community meeting, the role by government wanted to ensure that communities benefit from projects meant to develop their areas. Henry Okrut reports.
These are the local farmers from Palabek Kal sub-county in Lamu district. They feel mismanagement of the sugarcane project denied them the intended benefits.
We need to remove the document so that we make it in the name of community, just that if any project is coming, if any investor is coming, they will come directly to the community.
Like few people, already they are benefiting, they are the one who registered this land. But we, as women, we are requesting if someone wants to support us to come, even to help us as a community, because most of us, we do not go to school.
In the conflict is a dispute over land ownership. The community claims that the land was registered in the names of an imposter and not the community, which has caused exploitation.
Because the support was got from the government of Uganda to support our community. And as the government, we don't want to hear people are dying on the land. We don't want to hear people are fighting over the land, or wish we could solve the problem amicably within ourselves.
The area member of parliament, Engineer Hilary Onek, met with the community and stakeholders for a solution.
Some other people who call themselves cooperatives harvested the 2,000 acres which was planted, went and sold, but they never brought the money or declared the money to the other members of the cooperative. And now the chairman of that cooperative is been running around, he's not calling meetings. Now there's been a lot of anguish here, a lot of complaint.
Onek, also the Minister for Relief, Disaster Preparedness and Refugees, agrees with the community consensus on accountability.
And we are going to call that chairman of the cooperative to come before the population, do accountability of what happened. The sugarcane is sold and some other assets which he took from the farm here. That's exactly what brought me to solve the problem in Ayualali, to harmonize the population so that they move in one direction.
The dispute over the sugarcane project in Palabek-Kal highlights challenges communities face in Uganda on land ownership and management. Henry Okrut, UBC.
The Katikiro of Buganda, Charles Peter Maiga, has urged Ugandans to involve their children in the work they do as a foundation for development. He also encouraged them to embrace technology in their daily activities. Mr. Maiga was meeting members of the Poultry Association of Uganda, who were led by the Executive Director of Biyinzika, Henry Mambwe, during their courtesy visit to the Katikiro at Bulange, Mengo.
You make your child like your economic activity so that he or she learns the nitty-gritties of that economic activity. I don't know whether you've noticed Indians will have their children in their small shops everywhere you go. They will have them in their companies, in their industries, but they'll not be big managers. They will start from the bottom with them. Make the children like the business. Use technologies that exist today. I've visited a few poultry farms, and what I see is amazing. The way the chicken are fed, the way they are given water, everything's automated. I've seen it. All that is IT.
We're here today for 3 reasons. One is to officially introduce the Poultry Association of Uganda and what we do. Secondly is to extend a formal invitation to your office and the Kingdom to grace the expo. The third one, obviously most importantly, is to seek your partnership in advancing 2 strategic pillars that we move on. We believe the poultry sector can be a key driver of rural development, household nutrition, youth employment, and economic resilience.
Sports news now, and a meeting between the Federation of Uganda Football Associations, FUFA, and Uganda Premier League chairpersons has climaxed with no consensus in regards to the newly proposed league format.
On August 20th, 2025, Federation of Uganda Football Associations sent a circular that revealed a proposed new league format meant to start on 26th September 2025. The circular explained a format for the league to run in 3 phases. The reaction from clubs was discontent that has grown further by the day and has today led to a meeting between clubs and the Federation at Serena Hotel in Kampala. The closed-door meeting that lasted close to 6 hours ended in a stalemate that will be sorted next Tuesday. The clubs want football to win and quote a few sections in the new format that are good for football, but its timing and lack of consultation to pass it render it dictatorial.
FUFA is part of us. With our mother federation, the document came from FUFA. So as clubs, we unanimously agreed in our last meeting that it is important that we engage FUFA. Because one thing that we saw in that document, which is the fundamental issue, was the timing of the document before its implementation, lack of consultation, lack of sensitization, and lack of involving the different stakeholders. There are so many innovations. Some of them are good, but they require time to study and appreciate, just like any new thing when it is coming out. This is a fundamental change. It's not something that you can just change in nights. It requires time.
The club's delegation was of 13 of the 16, led by Vipers Sports Club Executive Director Dr. Lawrence Mulindwa, who believes that by Tuesday next week consensus will be reached. But in all the federation does, football must win with agreement between all stakeholders.
They appreciated our concerns, and we agreed with them that it is important to have more consultations, more engagement.
The same meeting was attended by top-ranked officials from the Federation, led by President Engineer Moses Magogo.
A very good meeting. It is not an easy meeting to have club presidents in the quantities and the person is present. And the objective was a meeting of minds on different issues, especially the competitions reforms, the Uganda Premier League. And we have made a consensus on a number of them, which is a good thing. And it was just a meeting of minds, because people were looking at things from different angles. But when we discussed, we've made a consensus on 3 key issues. The only issue that has remained is about the format. And on Tuesday, we have agreed to have another meeting. There will be a circular issued by the CEO, which has some of the details. And once this circular is issued, the clubs will respond, and then we meet on Tuesday. And from Tuesday, we'll definitely have a way forward. So I want to assure Ugandans that we'll definitely have a good way forward. As a federation, we love engaging, we love listening, but we're also very strong in things that we believe in.
The failure to adopt this new league format means that the proposed league start of September 26, 2025 is still in balance.
John Barnes Sentamo reporting there, and that story brings us to the end of this first edition of News Tonight. Thank you so much for having kept us company. On sign language, it has been Senyamo Yusuf, and I am Rukidi Kiijanangoma. See you at 10 for our second and final edition of News Tonight.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
The Government Chief Whip and NRM